How's it going, everybody? If you own a commercial building or even just lease space commercially for your business, have inventory, equipment, things like that, then this video is for you. Commercial property insurance is one of the most important coverages that you can have for your business. And in this video, I want to go over some of the basics around this coverage. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Brian. I'm an independent insurance agent based here in the state of Michigan, Metro Detroit specifically, and I work with businesses on their commercial insurance programs, as well as helping families and individuals with their personal insurance, their home, their auto insurance as well. My goal with this channel is to pass on a little bit of educational information to you so that you can make more informed decisions around your insurance, and then overall help answer any questions that you might have. So let's get into it. And before we get too far into the video, I do want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. And if you find this video helpful, useful, anything like that, please feel free to like, share, pass along with anyone else as well. At its core, commercial property insurance is designed to protect your business's physical assets. So things like the structure of the building, equipment, inventory, any furniture that your business might own. And it protects it from things like fire, theft, vandalism, or certain weather events. In Michigan, we can obviously see a pretty wide range of risks depending on where your property is located. A retail store in Metro Detroit could face some different exposures compared to a warehouse in northern Michigan. But both of these obviously need to have the right protection in place. Commercial property coverage will typically break down into a few major parts. And first is going to be the building coverage. So coverage for the actual structure itself if you do own the building. And this part of the policy would help repair or rebuild if it is damaged. And there's the business personal property coverage. And this is for the items that your business owns inside the building. Things like your equipment, your inventory, any furniture. And the simplest way to think about this coverage is if you flip the building upside down, what's going to fall out? And depending on the type of business you have, this part of the policy is just as important as coverage for the actual building itself. And an important coverage to note is if you lease space, is tenants, betterments, and improvements coverage. And this would take into account things like custom build outs and any sort of upgraded features that you paid for the space. So things like lighting, flooring, any certain specialized appliances. These all should be taken into account for this coverage. And the reason being is that sometimes these are not accounted for on your landlord's policy, so they do need to be included in yours. And then for businesses with more than one location, more than one property, it's also worth considering blanket coverage. This allows you to combine coverage limits across multiple buildings, across multiple locations, rather than having individual separate limits for each. And the reason to do this is that it can provide a lot more flexibility if there is a severe accident, a bad claim at one site in particular. And then there are also optional coverages that are obviously worth considering. Things like equipment breakdown, water backup coverage, utility service line coverage, or coverage for any outdoor signs or fencing that your business might have. And then an important point that I always like to mention is how the insurance company calculates the value of your building, of your property. It will usually be based off replacement cost, and we always recommend having coverage based on this number. So the insurance companies, when they're calculating it, factor things in like the year built, the construction type, the square footage of the property. These all factor in. And replacement cost is not the same as market value. This is what it would take to completely rebuild your building from the ground up, not necessarily what you could sell it for. So this is always an important distinction that I like to mention. And then along with certain optional coverages to consider is if your building is older, ordinance or law coverage is definitely something to consider. And this would help protect against the cost to help bring your building up to code after a loss. Now, just like with any type of insurance, there are certain exclusions that I do like to make people be aware of that are fairly common across the board. Things like routine maintenance and regular wear and tear are not covered. And it's also common that flood and earthquake coverage are not automatically included. So if those are areas of concern, it is important to make sure that coverage is either added on or potentially a separate policy is put into place for either of those. And then similar with other types of insurance, you will have a deductible, and this is what you would be responsible for initially in the event of a covered claim of a covered loss, and raising or lowering your deductible is one way to adjust your premium. But it is important to make sure that you are comfortable being responsible for that amount out of pocket in the event of a claim. So overall, at the end of the day, commercial property insurance is really about making sure that your business, that your investment, your assets are properly protected, and that your business can recover in the right way if something does happen. Every policy can be different, so it is very important to make sure that you have the proper coverage in place. So thank you for watching, and if you are looking for help with your commercial property insurance or commercial insurance program as a whole, I would love the opportunity to work with you and see if our team can help. There are a lot of ways to get a hold of me, and they should all be in the description below. Please feel free to text, call, email, fill out a contact form, whatever's easiest. And if you have any other questions about insurance, please feel free to either reach out to me directly or leave them in the comments below. I would love to help answer those as well. So thank you again.